Fight Night takes place on ABC. The first time there's been a fighting sport on ABC since 2000. Max Holloway will take on Calvin Kattar in the featherweight main event. Our next guest, he never sleeps, always making things happen. UFC president, friend of the show, Dana White. Dana, always good to see you, sir. And I want to dive right into this because this is pretty awesome, right? To have the UFC on ABC. And I'm sure Max could chop it up with you all day about this, but ABC was the home of combat sports. We're talking Ali, Sugar Ray, Duran. What does it mean to you to have the UFC airing on the network?
Yeah, obviously we're on fire right now, so for ABC to want us on the network and air us, and not just for us, but for the fighters. Like you were saying, I used to watch it all the time. ABC's Wide World of Sports, all the big fights were on there. Ali, Sugar Ray, and for these kids to get this opportunity to showcase what they have on ABC is such a big deal to us.
Let's talk about the kids then, Dana, because Holloway, maybe he should still be champ, right? And he's fighting a guy, we just showed the clip, Kattar's elbow against Stevens. When I saw that at first, I thought it was a straight right hand. The elbow was thrown like perfectly. If you got the back view, I thought these are two guys who like to stand up and fight. What should fans expect in the main event?
You are absolutely right, Max. They are both mean, nasty. You have the #1 rated guy in the world, former world champion. Many people think he won the last fight and still should be champion, including himself, Max Holloway, taking on Calvin Kattar, who is ranked #6. Hungry, mean, nasty, knocks people out. And when we got asked to go on to ABC, I was so thankful that this was the main event. It's going to be a good one.
Dana, always a pleasure to have you on the show, buddy. When you think about the UFC, obviously you guys are doing a phenomenal job. And we think about guys with box office appeal. I mean, the Conor McGregors of the world obviously come to mind along with various others. Could you just rewind the clock just a little bit and speak to what he has meant for the sport, the UFC, in light of all the things that have happened since then? Because it just seems like even though it was growing and growing and growing throughout the years, when he went up against Mayweather, it took the popularity of the sport, it appears, to another level. Could you speak to that for a second?
Yeah, I agree. He's a massive superstar, and that was obviously a global massive fight. It's the biggest pay-per-view of all time. It's the biggest combat sports pay-per-view of all time. And not only did he help, growing the sport in the United States, but throughout the rest of the world, throughout the UK, Europe, Australia. Conor McGregor is a massive superstar for us.
So how do you do that, Dana? Because when I look at the UFC, and you and I have talked about it, like you're a boxing fan who's like, I'm not going to make all the mistakes that boxing made. I'm going to do the opposite of that, and you've done it. But one of the things it seems to me you've done is you've taken the best of the NBA in the sense that it's a star-driven sport, and the NFL in the sense that, of course, it hurts when you lose a big star, but it's really the brand that people respond to. They know there'll be more stars, and it's really more about the brand than any individual. Was that conscious for you? Did you have that plan? And how do you juggle the two? On the one hand, promoting these individual stars like the NBA and the brand like the NFL.
Well, they go hand in hand, really. What happens is when you have the UFC, which is, a star in its own right, you have this massive brand, and you have all these superstars that live inside the brand. It goes hand in hand, and they help build each other. You take a guy like Conor, and he comes into the UFC and starts to work his way up, starts to build his name. Fans he has that it factor. And as he starts to become a massive superstar, more and more people learn about the UFC. But the UFC helped build him. So it really goes hand in hand.
Dana, when I look at you, I want to get a little bit personal here from just talking about you for a second. Do you realize that you are one of the biggest stars in the UFC? When people talk about the UFC, they talk about you. You ain't in the octagon wrapping a belt around somebody when all is said and done. But when they talk about you, when they talk about the UFC, they talk about you. And I believe I know the reason why. And Max, you can chime in with this too if you agree or disagree with me. You know that Dana White is going to make sure people get to see the fights that they want to see, which is a challenge in the sport of boxing. That doesn't appear to be the case in the UFC. Do you ever take a moment, Dana, to really reflect on it and think about things in that fashion?
Well, just like I was saying, you take all the big superstars and you take the powerful brand of the UFC. I'm the guy that's involved in every fight. I'm the guy that's out promoting every fight. I'm the guy that's telling you why this fight on Saturday night on ABC is going to be so good and why you should, whatever other plans you had, you were thinking about doing, you shouldn't do because you should be home watching this fight. I'm that guy, and I'm aligned with all of them. So, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Since day one.
Dana,
let me ask you. Oh, go ahead, Max.
Go ahead. Sorry, Molly. In terms of Conor McGregor,
go ahead, Max, you're fine.
Getting back to McGregor for a second, what would be your dream scenario from here on out for Conor McGregor in the UFC?
Well, this Conor McGregor that's going to fight next Saturday is the Conor that's fun, the Conor that I love to be around fight week, the Conor that I love to see get in there and fight on fight night. He's motivated, he's focused. He has plans for the rest of the year. This kid is saying that he wants to go in, he's going to show us all something we've never seen next Saturday night, and then he wants to fight 2 more times this year. If that is true, and Conor does continue on this path and he fights 2 more times this year, he's going to fight for a world title, and, if he wins on Saturday, and he will defend it. So it would be a great year.
We can't wait to see Conor. We can't wait to see Saturday on ABC. All right, I let Max go because I wanted to change topics here for a second. Dana, obviously, huge MMA fan, huge combat sports, boxing. We know this. And people probably think of you as a West Coast guy also, but you're actually East Coast. You're a Boston guy, and you are a huge football fan. I don't know if everybody at home knows this. Die-hard New England Patriots. So please tell me, Dana, how has this year been for you? You can go anywhere you want with this. Tom Brady and the Bucs, your Patriots. What is on your mind?
Yes, I'm a Patriots fan to the end. When we flew over here on Fight Island, I had a Patriots hoodie on, and I was getting tortured at the airport. Everybody, they're like, "What are you doing with this on?" I said, "I'm living in the past." I'm a Patriots fan, but I am a huge Tom Brady fan too, and obviously I'm pulling for the Bucs. The Patriots aren't in it. I'm pulling for Tom and the Bucs to win this thing.
All right, it's going to be tough, Dana. Drew Brees isn't playing around, but it's going to be a lot of fun to watch that, and especially Saturday night, ABC. Looking forward to that card, and Conor coming up in the near future. Dana, we always love seeing you. We'll talk to you soon. Stay safe.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.